Good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm like 1 minute later than I usually am today. Had to get a whole bunch of things together. Good morning. How's everybody feeling? Um, it's Saturday. We have another day, 60 minutes today. I've got stuff everywhere. Um, Anybody new joining today? We're going to be using a prop. This is a 9-inch ball. You know, it's blown up about 80 to 90%. Also, one thing to remember, some of these balls, even though they say that they're 9 inches, sometimes like if you blow them a ton, they can get up to like 11 inches. So just try to keep them a little bit smaller, especially if they're behind your neck. Try not to keep it too inflated so your neck's not like fully lifting up. If you don't have a prop, don't worry about it. You can use a towel, which works really nicely. You can kind of like fold it up, use it like this. You can use a pillow. Also, if you have any knee issues, you can take the towel underneath your knee just for some extra support. I'll cue through a bunch of different pregnancy things. I know there's a bunch of pregnant women who are joining this, which is amazing, and I'm so glad you're still moving. It's super, super important. I would say avoid anything like rolling up and down, so you're having to kind of like grip in your neck and grip in your abdominals. Not too much twisting, so don't do like such an aggressive twist. Also, same thing for anybody who has like a rod in their spine from scoliosis. I'm trying to like quickly do this so we can start moving. Yeah, I'll cue through it kind of as we go. So hopefully that'll help everybody. We're gonna start with no prop. We're gonna kind of start with some of these like nice flowy movements. That's it. I think we should just get moving. Keep your towel handy if you have any knee issues and you use that throughout the class, so make sure that it's kind of nearby. No prop. Drop your prop to the side. Okay. All right, let's start with a wide stance here. Start to lift up through your abdominals here. You're just gonna start to reach your hands forward. Take your hands backward, just start to open up your chest, start to move your arms around. We're gonna start to build some heat here. So we're gonna keep the movement kind of flowy here. One more. And start to bend your knees. You're pulling your hips backwards over your heels, lifting in and out, pulling the abdominals in. Shifting it back, reaching out of your hands, pressing through and lifting. Good, so you're reaching it out. So you're trying not just to bend down, you're pulling your hips backwards, keeping the core in, lift it up. Let's do one more here. We're gonna add on some arms. So you're gonna bend the knees, take your arms out to the side, squeezing them in towards your back, and then lifting up. So you're trying to pull your shoulders away from your ears, opening up the chest without arching your spine. You go here. Pull the core in really nicely, just starting to warm up the body. And open. And lift. Two more. Keeping the core in. We're trying to move in a denser space than air. So I've mentioned this a bunch of times, but feel like you're really actively moving your arms here. You're trying not to just to, move them as if you're not holding your muscles. Hold here, take your hands all the way back. Start to pulse your arms up. So even here too, feel like you're pressing your arms up as if you have weights even though you don't. Weight is in your heels, abdominals stay in. You're lengthening out of your neck, really connecting into your core again. Continue the movement here. Should feel pretty nice and kind of heat inducing. And then hold your arms up, bend your elbows in, and then press it back. So you're keeping your elbows in the same position. Checking with your legs, make sure you're not firing up the quads too much. If you are, shift your weight backwards slightly, connect into the glutes and a little bit more abdominal. Tiny pulses here. And back. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. Take your arms back. You're just going to reach it out in front of you. Start to stretch your body up towards the ceiling. Bend your knees in, reaching out through your hands. Lifting up again. And back. Let's do 2 more. And back. 1 more. And then back. And now you're going to lift up through here. You're going to bend your right knee, start to reach out of your arms, pressing through that leg. So we're going right over to the right leg. Your left leg is stretching out. Your arms are still continuing this nice long movement here. Shifting your weight backwards over your heel. Try not to dip down too low so that your back takes over. Make sure you're still pulling it in from the core. And then we're going to go here. You're going to take your arms out to the side into a T, back in front of you, and lift. So you're going here, you're just going out into a T. Pulling the core in. And out. And lift. So pressing through that left leg, open up. And lift. One more. Out. And now we're going to hold here. You're going to take your arms out into a T. You're going to rotate to the right. Use your abdominals to pull you back to center. So you're just rotating. You're starting the movement from the core, so your arms are just kind of going along for the ride. You're lifting up the abdominals, twisting over. If you can feel your right glute connecting here. Back to center. Let's do 2 more. And back. 1 more. And back here and hold. You're going to take your left arm underneath. You're going to rotate over to the right. Use your abdominals to pull back to center. Let's do it again. Same side. Nice twist. So now it's just a bend up and over. You're pulling the core and reaching it up. Back to center. 2 more. Shifting your weight backwards over that right heel again. 1 more. And then back. Start to reach your hands down, back behind you, back in front of you. You're going to press that leg all the way up, lifting up out of the chest, and back down. Let's do 2 more. Lift, and down. 1 more. And down. Good, nice. And let's lift up. Let's go over to the other side. So bending the left knee, reaching it out through the arms, lifting it up. So keep pulling in the core, stretching out of that right leg, lifting it up. Are we feeling a little warm yet? Really actively moving here. And then bending it back. And let's do 2 more. And then 1 more. And now we're going to bend. You're going to add the arms. You're going to open it out into a T. Press it out. And lift. So you're going to go out. Open the arms out. Actively pressing it back. So make sure that you're really intentionally moving your arms here. So they're not just kind of like doing whatever here. Like you're really pulling them, pressing them back. 2 more. And this next one, we're going to hold it down. You're going to take your arms out into a T. We're going to rotate to the left. Use your abdominals to come back to center. So let's rotate back to center. Keep shifting your weight backwards over that left hip. And twist. You might feel a difference in the amount of twist you can feel on each side too, and that's absolutely okay. Back to center, dropping the right arm down. We're going to just bend over to the side and back to center. So I'm adding a little rotation over to my left. If that feels like too much, you can also just bend straight over to the side, depending on how your spine feels today. So go up here. And 1 more. And then reach the hands forward and back and then forward, and then we're going to lift all the way up. Take your heels inwards, toes outwards here, reaching your hands all the way up. You're going to press your arms down as you start to bend the knees, taking your palms up, pressing through the heels and lift. So dropping it down through here. Palms go up, press through your heels and lift. So feel kind of your low abdominals guiding this movement here. And down. And up. 1 more. And up. And you're going to take your arms out to the side. I want you to shift your hips up and back. So now we're going into like this position, kind of straight to like a hinge forward, abdominals stay in, reaching your hands forward, and then taking them back, squeezing the pinkies together. So now you're reaching them forward and back. How are our arms feeling? Are you feeling like we need to switch positions here? Keep pulling the abdominals in. We're going to work through all of that shoulder stability also. And then out. Let's do 2 more. All the way up and over and back. 1 more. And back. And then we're going to take your hands forward, take your hands backwards behind you, and then just start to reach them out in a forward diagonal. You're going to go back. You might have to open your arms a little bit wider to kind of clear your knees. Keep pulling in the core. Feel the glutes. Feel the low abdominals. And then forward. One more. Good. And then let's take your arms all the way back, shifting your weight back through here. Palms go up. Let's lift all the way up. Do 2 arm circles. And then let's grab onto your prop. So we're going to make your way down onto your knees. Let's take the prop between your ankles. Your knees are going to be separate here. And you're going to take your hands directly underneath your shoulders. So let's roll the shoulders back. Your toes are tucked underneath, and you're going to pull the abdominals in. Start to hover your knees up here and hold. And then drop it down. So you're hovering your knees up and holding. And then drop it down. So one thing to notice, the inside of my elbows are facing forward so that your shoulders stay away from your ears. The elbows are soft. You're really connecting into the core here. Try to keep your neck really nice and long. Good. 2 more. And then 1 more, you're going to lift up and hold. Soften the elbows, start to squeeze the knees together. Open the knees out to the side. So very tiny squeeze and open. So you're keeping your hips in the same position in space. Trying to keep your spine nice and long. Elbows stay forward. Keep breathing. Nice expansive breath through your ribs. And let's do 2 more. And 1 more. Open the knees out to the side, dropping the knees, uncurling the toes. Let's go into a cat and cow. So round all the way up, pulling in the abdominals. And then open up the chest. You can let all the air out. Pull the abdominals in here. And then we're coming back to center. So you're going to drop the shoulders down. Find a neutral pelvis here. So you're flat back. Elbows are forward. Start to take your left hand out to the side. Drop it down. Let's take the right hand out to the side. I feel like I need some breathing. Make sure that you're taking deep breaths. And then try not to shift your weight here. So you're evenly on both knees. As you lift one arm, your oblique has to connect onto that left side here. Drop it down. All the way out to the right. And now you're going to take your left arm out to the side. You're going to take it in front of you here, and you're going to start to bend the elbow into your side and then extend it out. So you're bending it in, reaching it out in front of you. Check in with that right side of your body. Make sure the shoulder's back. Elbow stays forward. Try to relax your toes as much as possible. 2 more. Whew. This looks so easy, but it's so challenging. Again, taking that arm all the way back behind you. Reaching it out, go in front of you here. So a nice range of motion on the shoulders, keeping the abdominals in. 1 more. And then all the way forward. Good. And then drop that hand down. Find your center again. Pull the abdominals in. You're going to take your right hand out to the side. Take it out in front of you. Start to bend that elbow into your side. Stretching it all the way out in front of you here. So you're bending. Like tiny shakes today. Lots of deep inner work here. So make sure that your left elbow is forward. Still check in with the ball or your prop to make sure that you're engaging, the inner thighs here. Still actively pulling in the core, pelvic floor. 1 more. Now take that right arm all the way back. You're going to open up the chest. It goes behind you. Reach it out in front. All the way back behind you. And front. 2 more. How are your abdominals feeling? Really hanging on here. 1 more. And then all the way forward. And then drop that hand down. Roll your shoulders back. Go into a cat and cow here. So rounding all the way up. And then opening up your chest. And then rounding all the way up through here. And you're going to pull your weight back slightly. Slowly start to roll the spine up. We're going to end up on top of your knees here. So shift your body forward a little bit so your abdominals have to really connect. You're reaching your hands forward. and then backwards. So you're almost hinging, or you're almost like pulling your weight forward so much that you're almost going to fall flat on your face unless you really connect into the core here. Good. So especially as your arms go forward, it's a lot of core. And back. 2 more. Heart rate should be up as well. 1 more. And back. We're going to start to hinge backwards, reaching your hands out in front of you, lifting up, squeezing the ball, reaching it out, and lift it up. So think your hips are pulling over. You're trying not to just dip your weight back. If anything, the upper part of your body is going forward as your hips go backwards. So that's where your core will come to play there. All the way out. And lift. 1 more. And lift. Let's go out to the side with your arms, lifting up to the core. Let's take your right arm up and over. So we're going to bend over to the side. You're going to use your abdominals to come back to center. Let's go up and over to the opposite side, lifting up, stretching out of that side of your body, using your abdominals to lift. Let's go up and over. So really stretching through that right knee. And lift up and over to the right. Pressing through that left knee, up and over. Let's go over to the left. You're going to go up and over here, hinging backwards as your arms reach forward, still connecting in the core, pulling your hips forward as you stretch out to the side, lift it back up and over. Bend it back so you're like deeply pulling the core as you're elongating out through that left side, lifting up. So it's like that oppositional movement where you're going up and over, pressing into the right knee. Now pulling your hips back, stretching out of that right hand. Lift, up and over. Pulling the abdominals in, lifting it up, and back to center. Let's do 2 arm circles here. And then you're going to reach forward into a child's pose. Stretch out through your arms. Start to tuck your toes underneath. We're going to go out into a full plank. So you're pulling your elbows forward again, so the fronts of your elbows are forward, abdominals stay in. Give that ball a nice squeeze. Find your plank position here. Start to bend your knees, pressing through the arms, zipping up the inner thighs as you stretch out of your upper body. Bending it back, stretching through here. So create some, flowing motion here where you're constantly moving. Everything is constantly connecting, so there's no end to this. So you're like stretching, elongating out the core. 2 more. And 1 more. You're going to press it all the way out here and hold. You're just going to start to bend your knees, press through the legs, very tiny bends, squeezing the inner thighs here. Abdominals stay in. This is mostly for like inner thighs. You can feel hamstrings, you can feel your arms connecting, a lot of core. 2 more. Keep breathing. 1 more. And then bend your knees. Sit back into a child's pose, stretch out through the arms. We're going to roll through the spine here. Start to lift up in the chest, pull your shoulders back. Good. Pulling the abdominals in and then stretching it all the way out. If you're pregnant here, just go into the modified plank. Try not to go into too much of an extension. Keep the abdominals in. Rolling it back. 1 more. Rolling through. Lifting up through here, and then we're going to pull yourself into a modified plank position here. Okay, so your hips stay forward. You're still squeezing the ball. Elbows are back. You're going to bend your elbows. Your chest goes down to the floor. Start to push it up through here. So you can see that my hips go down with me. It's very tiny here because I want your shoulders back away from your ears. Keep the abdominals in. And keep breathing. How are we feeling? Definitely already feel better after adding some movement here. Feeling nice and warm. Very connected. And lift. 1 more. And then press it all the way out, pressing through your arms, stretching out through your spine here. And then we're going to lift up. You're going to go turn your right elbow facing inwards. The ball is still going to let me scoot down here. The ball is still going to be between your ankles here. We're going to go up here, extend this top arm out. So you can notice that my knees are not touching, but I'm lifting up out of my core here, reaching that top arm out. Start to lift up that top knee and then drop it down. So you're lifting it up, you're thinking your core is also lifting that knee up, drop it down. You can also, if this top arm feels like it's too much, you can take your hand on your hip. If you also feel like it's too much pressure on the shoulder, you can rotate slightly, go here, so you have a little bit of pressure into this left hand or a little extra support there. Try to keep the chest nice and open. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. And now you're going to open up that knee. You're going to keep it nice and open. Now you're going to lift your hips up. Take this left arm up and over your head. And then come back to center here. You can drop the arm all the way down. You're lifting up, pulling the core and stretching out of that top arm. Drop it down. Let's do 3 more. Lifting it up. Dropping it down. 2 more. Really keeping your hips nice and open. Dropping it down. 1 more. Lifting it up. Dropping it down. Pull your knees in. You can take yourself into kind of a side child's pose. Stretch out through your arms as you pull your hips over to the side. Stretching out through here. Let's go right over to the other side. So I'm going to scoot over, but you can flip over on your mat if that feels more comfortable. Let's go out into your modified plank. You can see the ball still between here. Lifting up out of the abdominals. You're going onto your left shoulder. Right arm goes up. Start to lift that knee up and then drop it down. So you're only going to lift your knee up as high as you can keep your hips stacked on top of each other here. So if you start to notice that your hips are kind of like rotating backwards or forwards, take the movement just a little bit smaller. Check in with your neck too. If your neck starts to hurt, you can drop your neck down to the floor. Keeping the abdominals in here. Good. Lift it up. Drop it down. Let's do 1 more here. Drop it down. And then let's lift it up here and hold. You're going to lift your hips up, taking that right arm up and over your head. You're going to dip it down, take this hand by your hip. Lift it up. So you're leading with the core. You're going to go lift, lift, lift. Good. So think of that flowing movement here. So make sure that there's no end point. You're going to pull, 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 lift, lift. Drop it down. So there's constant movement. Lift it in and up. Drop it down. Nice. 2 more. All the way up. And then last one here. So you're keeping that knee nice and open. I started to drop my knee down, but make sure it's nice and open here. And then twist down to the side. Take your hands up and over. Stretch out of your arms. And then let's keep the prop between your ankles. You're going to take your feet to the front of your mat. Let's keep your legs in parallel, but make sure that you're squeezing more from the inner thighs, the pelvic floor. Start to reach your hands all the way up here. We're going to roll all the way down. So this is kind of that moment if you have any spinal issues or you're pregnant or you have diastasis, you don't really want to do this type of curling movement. You can either stay flat on your back and just move your arms up and down over your head. You can stay all the way lifted. You can just start to connect into the core and go about halfway down here. Good. Scoop and roll down. Pulling through the abdominals. Use this moment if you are rolling all the way down to align your spine back into the center. 2 more. So pulling the shoulders down, really stretching out through the arms, lifting it in and up. And 1 more, scooping it down, dropping the shoulders here. And then let's lift all the way back up. And now you're going to scoop them back. So some people have been asking me about the C-curve. You're C-curving kind of down here, but keeping your chest nice and open. So it is like a little bit of a hinge with a protection here. Start to do tiny circles. Keep pulling in the abdominals. You're really rotating from the shoulders. I mean, you're trying to rotate within the joints. Nice big circles here. Abdominals stay in. You're still squeezing the ball with your inner thighs. Stay connected, so remember the prop is there for a reason. Keeping the core in. And then come back to center here. Let's scoop and roll all the way down, rolling through the spine, taking your hands up over your head, Pull the chin in, slowly start to lift up. Good, and then you're gonna scoop and roll halfway down again. The scoop, the open chest, we're reversing the circle. Tiny circles through here. Keeping the shoulders dropped, abdominals stay in. Check in with your neck too, so make sure that you're not gripping from the back or gripping from the front. You're really trying to keep your head in line with your spine. Let your abdominals take some of that, work, and not your neck. 2 more. Good. Come back to center here, scoop and roll all the way down, rolling through your spine. So if you're not doing the roll downs, you can also grab on underneath your knees, just for a little mini break here. Lift all the way up, scoop and roll halfway down here and hold. Take your left arm out to the side. You're gonna push it through the center. Take your right arm out to the side. You're keeping your chest parallel with your knees, so we're not gonna rotate the body just yet. Open it up. Back to center. Squeezing the ball through the inner thighs. Dropping the shoulders. You feeling okay? A lot of abdominal here. Open it up. Pull it back to center. 1 more over to the right. Back to center. Let's scoop and roll all the way down. Taking your hands up over your head, stretching through the upper body. Now pulling the chin in. So it's also a great thoracic stretch as you roll all the way down there. So especially when we're kind of hanging on here, you're going to feel your back working kind of up through here too. So allow that as a moment to stretch it out. Now we're going to twist over to the left. Use your abdominals to pull back to center. Let's twist over to the right. And back to center. So now the rotation comes from the belly button up. Back to center. And twist. Anybody else warm? I'm definitely warm here. And twist. Let's do 1 more on each side. And then back. And now scoop and roll down. Let's roll down 1 vertebrae at a time, taking your hands up over your head. Let's pull the chin in, slowly starting to lift right back up here. And then we're going to go back onto our elbows. So you're going to take your elbows behind you. You're going to plant down your hands flat. If you feel like you're having wrist issues here, you can also make a fist. Sometimes it gives you like a little bit more of a base. Start to hover your knees up here and hold. So now we are trying to keep kind of more of a flat back and a neutral pelvis. If your lower back hurts, tuck a little bit. Drop your knees over to the right. So you're going to rotate here. Use your abdominals to pull back to center. So we're going to go over to the left. Stay lifted up off your shoulders. Pulling it back to center. Let's go over to the side. Back to center. Stay lifted up off the shoulders. The rotation comes from the belly button down, so you're rocking from one side of your hip to the other. You should be feeling kind of side leg, inner thigh, abdominals here. Let's go 1 more over to the right, 1 more over to the left. And then we're gonna pull back to center here, keeping your abdominals in. You're just gonna dip your legs down very tiny, trying to keep a neutral pelvis here. Very tiny dip and lift. Stay lifted up off your shoulders. Lift. Keep the abdominals in. Very tiny, really trying to tap as low as possible, those low abdominals. It's almost very light on your arms too. And 1 more. And then drop your feet all the way down. We're gonna lift up off your arms. Give yourself some space between your heels and your glutes. Reaching your hands all the way out. Let's scoop and roll all the way down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Take your hands up over your head. Pull the chin in. Let's slowly start to lift up. And now you're gonna open up your hips slightly. So you're just kind of externally rotating. The ball is squeezed between your ankles now. If you can see, it's just like a little bit of a diamond shape. Reaching your arms out. Let's roll all the way down just to feel kind of the difference in terms of opening the hips up, turning off the hip flexors. And lift all the way up through here. And now you're going to scoop and roll halfway down. So you're pulling your abdominals in. Open up the chest. Let's take your right arm up and then drop it down. You're going to take your left arm up and drop it down. So if you feel like your arm goes too high and you can no longer hang onto the core and something else starts to take over, like your back or your neck, just take little tiny movements here. Even the tiniest movement kind of switches it up for your core, forces you to connect a little bit deeper, test your core strength. Inner thighs, anybody feeling that inner thigh burn here too? If you don't have a prop, you can squeeze your heels together in this position also. It also connects your inner thighs. And then over to the left. Come back to center, scoop and roll all the way down, peeling through the spine. Taking your hands up over your head, and let's pull the chin in. Slowly start to lift right back up. And now you're gonna scoop and roll halfway down here again. Keep your chest nice and open. We're gonna turn your palms facing down. You're gonna bend your left arm. You're gonna twist to the left, stretching your arm out straight. So you're rotating from the belly button up, pulling it in, back to center. You're pulling it back. A lot of core today. Twist, back to center. Nice twist. You're pulling your fingertips apart from each other. Let's go over to the right and back. One more each side. Twist and back. Last one. And back. Reaching your hands out. Scoop and roll all the way down. Taking your hands up over your head. And let's pull the chin in. Slowly start to lift all the way back. Whew. Challenging. You're going to go back onto your elbows here. Stay lifted up off your shoulders. We're going to start to draw your legs up to tabletop, but now you're in like a diamond shape. So your knees are opened up. Staying lifted up off your shoulders. Let's dip that shape over to the right. Use your abdominals to lift back up. So it's going to change the movement a little bit because your hips are open. Pull the abdominals in. Let's go over to the right and lift over to the left. Stay lifted up off the shoulders. Keeping the abdominals in, we're going to stay over to the right here and hold. You're going to lower it down an inch, lift it up an inch. Trying to really hang on with that left oblique. Trying to keep your spine as long as possible, so I don't want this to happen. Okay, staying lifted here, pulling the core in. And let's lift up, let's go right over to the left, keeping those knees nice and open, staying lifted up off the shoulders. Dip and lift. Very tiny here. Whew. 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more. Come back to center. Drop those feet down. Give yourself some space here. Start to press up in your arms. Stretching your arms all the way out straight. Let's scoop and roll all the way down. Reaching out through your hands, stretching out through your abdominals. Pull the chin in. Slowly start to lift right back up. Take a butterfly stretch for your hip flexors. Allow that to relax. How are we doing? That felt so good. I so needed that deep heat release there. Okay, we're gonna flip over onto your knees. We're gonna get some length in our legs, stretch out some of that hip flexor work. Let's take the ball underneath your left hand here. If you don't have a prop here, you can drop your arm down by your side too, that's fine also. I would recommend putting like a little pillow underneath though if you have something handy. So turn your elbows forward. Your left arm is gonna stay bent. Your knees are underneath your hips. You're just gonna start to bend your right elbow down, and then press that arm up. So we're connecting into the core. Your knees stay underneath your hips. We're trying to just dip down in the upper body, pulling the abdominals in. Let's do 2 more. You can keep your feet flat here. 1 more. And then back. And then start to extend your right leg all the way out. You're going to kind of lighten up on the ball here. Stretching that right leg out. Start to hover that leg up. So you're lengthening out of that whole right side of your body. You're going to hamstring curl that leg in and stretch it out. So try not to arch the spine here. So you don't want to lift your leg up too high. You're just bending it in, stretching it out. If you can feel the front side of your body connecting as you hamstring curl here. I'm just keeping my hip in parallel, trying not to arch my spine as much as possible. 1 more. And now you're going to bend the knee into your chest, keeping your spine long. Start to stretch that leg all the way out. Bending in here, stretching it out. So you're keeping that right elbow soft, pulling in the core. The ball adds a little bit of instability here, so if it feels like you just need support from both arms, you're welcome to drop the ball. Good. 2 more. And extend. Let's do 1 more. And extend it out. Now you're going to externally rotate in that right hip. You're going to bend the knee over towards your shoulder and then stretch it out in line with your body. So you're bending it here. Can you still see kind of what's going on? The knee kind of goes like in this way and then stretches out straight. Okay, you're gonna go in and out. Let's do 2 more. Let's do 1 more. And then out. Good. And you're going to tap that leg over to the right. Lift it up, tap it over to the left. Keeping the abdominals and keeping your spine as straight as possible. Good. Nice movement here. And then back. Let's do 3 more. And back. Good. 2 more. Keep lifting up off that right shoulder. Try to connect in the core so it eases up some pressure on your arms. And last one, right and left. And then bend the knee down. Stretch your arms all the way out straight. Get a nice stretch in your body here. And then we're going to keep your left hand stretched out. Turn your right hand facing in. So now we're stretching out, elongate out of that left side of your body. Extend your right leg out. And you're going to find this position. So you're really reaching out. You can actually take your chest down to the floor. Lifting that right leg up. You're going to tap the toe down and lift. So now we're going to get a really nice range of motion, keeping your spine flat, and lift. And some of you have been reaching out about the stabilizing leg and whether that should be working, and the answer is absolutely yes. My left glute is on fire. It's really supporting you here. Your whole body is working. 2 more. And then 1 more. Good, lift it up. Bend that knee in. You're going to take the ball on the other side of your body here. We're going to turn over and you're going to squeeze your knees together. So we're going into a modified side plank on the side. The ball is going to add just a little bit of support for this side of your body so you're not gripping too much. Stay lifted up through here. You're going to extend that left leg out. Start to bend the knee in. So you're reaching it out. We're just bending it in kind of to match your knees here. If this feels like it's too much on that right arm, you can drop your hip down here, extend it out through here. Just make sure you're lifting up through the core. And out and in. Really nice. Keep breathing through this. Reach it out. And now we're going to internally rotate that knee. So you're going to go here. You're going to tap and extend. So you're tapping it in and extend. Tap it in. Reach it out. Let's do 2 more. And up. 1 more. You're going to keep that leg extended. Take the ball up and over your head, stretching out through here. You're going to tap the leg. You're going to lift it up here, tap. You're going to go up and over, stretching out, and tap. Keep lifting up in the abdominals here. Tap. Reaching it out. Really nice. Try to lift up off that shoulder, keeping the core in. Lift. 1 more. Lift. Drop the foot down. Extend this top arm up. We're going to twist underneath. So you're folding underneath. You're rotating. Open it up. Really stretching out through that top leg. Twisting down. Open it up. Just 1 more here. Twisting it. Opening up. Beautiful. And then drop down into a child's pose. You're going to take your prop underneath your right arm. Roll it all the way out through here. Get a nice stretch in that side of your body, and then take your left hand underneath and twist through here. Take a nice deep breath. Okay, let's go over to the other side. Okay, I'm going to flip this here slightly. So we're starting on all fours. You want to keep your heart rate going, so let's jump right into it. Pull in the abdominals here. Take your right hand on the ball. Because we've done a lot of work on that right side, try not to push too much onto here. Give it a little bit of a break. Ease up on the ball. Flatten the feet here. Pull the core in. You're going to start to bend that left elbow down. Push it up through the abdominals. So try not to arch here and then push it up through here. You're trying to keep your spine flat. Your whole body just dips down. It's not about how low you can go. It's about how controlled you can make the movement from your core. And up. 2 more. And lift. Let's do 1 more. And lift. And then you're going to start to extend that left leg out. You can see kind of the ease of this right arm on the ball. Let's scoot forward. And then hover that leg up. So stretching out of that side of your body, you're going to start to hamstring curl in and then reach it out. So your hamstring curling in through here. And through this movement, your left hip flexor should be stretching out. You're controlling the hamstring curl from your left oblique. 2 more. And out. 1 more. And out. Start to draw that knee into your chest. I'm going to fix my position here. You're trying to even out your core into the center of your body. And all the way out. So as you pull your knee in, you're not arching your spine, keeping your spine nice and flat. 2 more. And out. 1 more. And out. And then open up the hip. You're turning your knee in towards your shoulder, stretching it out. So your hip is staying open, and you're only moving your range of motion. So your knee only comes in as far as your spine can kind of stay straight. That was a little tricky way to describe it, but your spine stays long, so your knee only comes in until you feel like you have to kind of crunch on that side. And out. Let's do 1 more. Keep breathing. Tap that leg over to the left, lift it up and tap it over to the right. So you're going here, tap, and tap. Keeping the core in, and tap. Let's do 2 more. And 1 more here. Ooh, nice. Drop that knee down. Turn your left hand facing in. We're going to stretch out of that right side of your body now. So really elongating out. Pull the ribs in. Stretching out through that left leg. You're going to reach it up here. Elongate out. Think even lengthen further out of that left leg. Drop the foot down. And lift. Drop. And lift. So reminder that you will be feeling this on the right glute. You want to keep your abdominals in and up. Stretch it out. And lift. And try to have as little pressure on that left shoulder as possible. Really elongating out through that right arm. 2 more. And 1 more. And lift. Drop that knee down. We're going to take your arm past your left hand, and then we're going to flip over onto the side here. Last little bit. Keeping your abdominals lifted here. Remember, shoulder problems, anything feeling funky, drop your hips down. Lift up through here, balls here for support. Reach it out. Bend the knee in. Good. Stretching it out. Good. One thing I find too, that if your hand is on the floor, try not to grip into it, because what happens is your shoulder wants to curl forward. So what I like about the ball here is it keeps it kind of in line with your body. It adds like just a little bit of support, but not too much. It's mostly core lifting. 1 more. And now you're going to extend it out. You're going to turn your knee facing inward, so internally rotating, stretching it out. Internally rotating and stretch it out. So keeping the abdominals in, reach it out. How are we hanging here? 2 more. And then out. You can always drop your hip if you need a moment also. Stretch it out, grab onto the ball, take it over your head, dropping the foot here, lifting up and tap, and tap. Stretching it out. Try to soften that left toe also if you feel like you're starting to grip in that leg, really lifting up. You can still feel it in that side of your glute, so that's okay. 2 more. 1 more. You're going to go here, drop the leg, tap the toe actually onto the ground as you open this up. You're going to twist over to the left, twisting through the body. Open it up. Rotating down, twisting through the core. Open it up. Let's do 2 more. Open it up. 1 more. Twist. Open it up. Beautiful. Drop the hip down. You can drop the prop down to your side. Let's lay flat. Take a little bit of a stretch here. Take your right knee into your chest. Cross your right foot past your left knee. Give it a pull. Press down in your right hip flex or hip. Take your left hand past your right knee. Let's twist your lower half to the left. Twist your upper body over to the right. And then let's drop that down. Take your left knee in. Cross your left foot past your right side. Give it a little pull here. And then let's cross your hand here. Lower half goes to the right. Upper body goes to the left. Twist. Obviously, if you have a spinal rod here, try not to take too much of a twist. You might not have that range of motion. You can just keep your knee pulled into your chest. Awesome. Pull your knees into your chest. You can rock side to side here. Let's grab onto your prop and take it between your ankles. Staying down here, rocking side to side. Let's grab on underneath your knees. We're going to slowly start to lift back up here. So if you're pregnant, I want you to hang on to this position and then just test your balance here, or if this feels okay. If not, I want you to go into rolling like a ball, rocking back. Let's lift up and hold. Scoop and roll back. Lifting up and hold. 2 more. Rocking it back. Lifting up. 1 more. Lifting it up. You're going to slowly start to drop your feet down. Reach your hands out. Let's lay all the way flat. Take your heels into your glutes. You can extend your hands out to the side. Press your arms down to the floor. Heels are in tight and you're squeezing the ball. Slowly start to tuck and lift all the way up. Hips are going to lift nice and high. Lengthen out of the top of your neck. And then scoop and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. So rolling through the spine. Let's lift up again. So start to tuck and lift all the way up, pressing into those heels, giving the ball a nice squeeze, and then scoop and roll all the way down. And let's do 1 more here. Let's tuck and lift all the way up, pressing down into your arms, lifting up here and hold. You're going to bend at the elbows here, pressing your arms out. So you're bending, stretching out through the arms, keeping your hips lifted. Feel like you're actively pressing down onto the floor, so opening up your chest. 2 more. Out. 1 more. All the way out. Slowly start to scoop and roll all the way down. And then we're going to start to lift back up as you start to pull your hands into your side. Your hands are going to hover through here. You're going to bend the elbows, pressing the arms down. So your arms are lifted up off the ground, trying to open up your chest, keeping the inner thighs glued together here. Let's do 3 more. Actively pressing your arms down. 2 more. And down. 1 more. And down. Take your hands all the way up over your head. Stretch through those fingertips. Scoop and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. And then take your arms back out into a T. You're going to open up your knees and then squeeze your heels together. So now you're externally rotated. Dropping the pelvis down first. Hands down by your side, start to tuck and lift all the way up. So you're going to lift your hips up high, stretching out through your arms here. Scoop and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Dropping the tailbone down. So now we're going to lift all the way up. Find this new way to lift up with your hips opening up, really rolling through every vertebrae. And now as we lift up, you're going to keep your palms down to the floor, but you're going to hover them up off the ground. You're going to squeeze your hands in here so your thumbs are squeezing together. You're going to roll through the spine. Arms are going to hold out into a T. And now we're going to lift up again, squeezing your thumbs together underneath your body. Rolling through the spine, out into a T. 2 more. If you can kind of feel like a nerve stretch kind of going all the way down your hands. Scoop and roll all the way down. Placing your arms down to the floor, let's lift up 1 more time here. Slowly start to lift up. You're going to start to squeeze your knees together. Open your knees out to the side. Squeezing them together, opening it out. So still stretching through your arms. 3 more. 2 more. And then 1 more. Squeeze, open it up, scoop and roll all the way down. Pull your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug and rock side to side. We're going to grab on underneath your knees. We're going to do a couple rolling like a ball here and lift. You can always go into a butterfly stretch if you want to skip these. Just kind of rolling through the spine to align 1 more time. Lift all the way up. Amazing. I want to get through a side series. I'm going to try my best to keep it slow and controlled, but also get through it. So take the ball in between your ribs and your hips here. You're going to bend your left knee and stretch out through that right leg. Let's lay all the way down over the ball. So you're kind of draping your upper body all the way over, pulling the core in through here. Your bottom arm stays down onto the floor. You're going to lift up here. So we're going to start to lift it up and then stretch it down. So one thing to think about here is we're lifting up through this muscle. We're trying not to fold over. We're lifting up here, keeping your spine nice and long. So you're easing up some weight on this bottom arm. You're pulling your core in, dropping it down. And let's lift up here, pulling the abdominals in, dropping it down. 2 more. Lifting it up, drop it down. Let's do 1 more. Lifting it up, dropping it down. We're going to add a leg. So as you lift up, we're going to start to hover this leg up, tap, drop it down. Good. Lift it up here and tap, drop it down. 2 more. Let's lift. Remember, you're leading through here. So the ball is there as like a nice stretch on the left side, but also to remind you to lift in and up off of it, not press down onto it. 1 more. Lift. And then drop it down. And now you're going to go onto your left elbow. We're going to rotate down to the floor. So you're going to take your leg slightly behind you. Your right arm is extended. Your right leg is back behind you. You're going to hover that leg up. Reach out through here and then hover that arm. You're going to twist up to the ceiling as you take your right leg forward. So open up through here. So this also will give us a nice stretch too. You're going to twist, pulling the core in. Your hips stay stacked. You stay lifted up off that left shoulder. Let's do 3 more here. 2 more. Twist. And back. 1 more. Twist. And back, drop it down, take a nice stretch. And then let's lift up, let's go over to the other side. Okay, this is where the ball's gonna go. It's hip, ribs, right in between, so right where your waist is. Bend it down, take your right leg in, left leg extends. Lay all the way down, stretching out of the side of your body. So really elongating out through there, pull the abdominals in. We're gonna lift up, and then drop it down, stretching out of your body here. Lifting up. So as long as you have some sort of little prop there to kind of keep you lifted, it's such a good reminder of where you're pulling, like what muscle you're connecting. It's also that right side on this side. So just because the right side is on the ball doesn't mean it doesn't have to connect. It's really pulling up off the ball also. All the way down. 2 more. Lift. And down. 1 more. Lift. We're going to start to add a leg here. So you're going to lift, add the leg, lift up, drop it down. Think lift, 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 drop it down. 3 more. Pull the abdominals in, lift, drop it down. 2 more. So you're keeping this hip stacked and parallel. Drop it down. 1 more. Lift. Drop it down. You're going to prop yourself up onto your right arm, twisting down to the floor, so extending out of this left arm, hovering this leg back behind you. Sliding it forward as you rotate. So really find your rotation here. If you can't twist as far as this, that's totally fine. You can keep it nice and small. Just really listen to your body and what feels comfortable and where your abdominals can still connect in this movement. Opening up the chest, pulling that leg forward. Still connecting into the side leg also. Nice rotation. And back. 1 more. Rotate. And then twist down, stretch out of that side of your body. And then we're going to flip over onto the floor. Take the ball between your ankles. We're gonna take your knees nice and open. Reach out into a child's pose, but tuck your toes underneath. We're gonna press out into a full plank here. Stretching out, squeezing the ball here, pulling the shoulders back and elbows forward. Bend your knees, pressing through your arms. Stretching it out. Bending it back. Stretching it out. Let's do 3 more. Stretching it out. 2 more. Zipping up the inner thighs. 1 more. And then back. And then press it back into a downward dog. You can ditch your prop. Start to pedal through your feet and check timing one more time here. You guys keep into downward dog. Okay. Pedal through your feet. Take your right foot down, your left knee into your chest. Open up that side of your body. Drop it down. Take your right knee in. Open up that right leg. Drop it down. Pedal through your feet here. Start to walk your feet in towards your body. Let your heels go directly underneath your hips. Grab onto your elbows. Drop the head down. Start to nod your head. Shake your head through here. Release your arms down to the floor. Let's slowly start to roll the spine up 1 vertebrae at a time. You go all the way up. Roll your shoulders back a couple times. We still have a couple more minutes, so I want to do this gut massage. If you're pregnant, don't do this. I recommend just going into a child's pose, but if you're feeling pretty good in your pelvic region, or if you're feeling any digestion issues, let's get into this. Take it right here. So right into your pelvis. You're going to lay all the way flat on top of the ball. Drop the head down. Just do full dead weight over the ball. So you're just going to lay all the way down here. Relax the body. You can start to circle your hips around so you can find the ball kind of going from one side of your digestion to the other, digestive intestines. And kind of rock side to side. Prop yourself up onto your forearms. And you're going to tuck your toes underneath and take your legs kind of like in line with your hips here. We're going to roll onto your toes and then start to allow the ball to kind of roll up onto your abdominals. It's going to go kind of like up towards your stomach. You can feel a little nauseating also, so if it feels like too much, don't go so high. And back here. What's also nice is because we did such deep core work too, it kind of massages your core as well, all of that inner movement that we did there. And then you can come back. Let's lift up off here, press out into your child's pose, take your knees wide, stretching through your arms. And then rolling it forward, rolling inward here, slowly starting to lift up out of the waist. Good. Roll your shoulders back, and we're all done. Great job. That was hard today. Feeling really good. Sweaty also. I hope everybody's having a great Saturday. Thank you so much for joining me here. We have another weekend class tomorrow, 10 a.m. I'm going to make it very different from this one, so if anybody is joining kind of for both, it's going to be a great complement to each other. Love you all. Have a great Saturday. See you later.